Have you ever wondered why humans can't stay in one place? Why some remain where they were born, while others decide to travel thousands of kilometers away? What we call migration today isn't just a modern phenomenon, it's one of the oldest and deepest currents flowing through human history. This story stretches back tens of thousands of years, to a time long before humans had truly tamed nature, a time when fear and curiosity lived side by side. Archaeological evidence suggests that the first major waves of migration began around 60,000 years ago in Africa, near what is now Ethiopia. Groups of Homo sapiens began moving northward, driven by drought, scarcity of resources, and curiosity. At that time, the global population was estimated at just 10,000 to 20,000 people, about the size of a football stadium today. These small bands of humans spread across the world, walking, swimming, and even crafting primitive boats from sharpened stones and wood. Some crossed the Arabian Peninsula into Asia. Others reached the humid forests of India, while some vanished into the icy steppes of Siberia. Around 15,000 BCE, humans had reached every continent except Antarctica. But this was not only a physical journey, it was a mental migration. With each new land, humans forged a new identity. They said, "The migration is over. We have settled." But they were wrong. Around 10,000 BCE, the Neolithic revolution began in Mesopotamia, binding humanity to the soil. Wheat, barley, lentils, goats, sheep, and cattle. For the first time, humans believed they controlled nature, but in truth, what they controlled was themselves. Settling down came with a prize competition for resources, wars, and new waves of migration. 4000 BCE, as Sumerian cities rose, drought struck the region. The levels of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers dropped, agriculture declined, and famine spread. Once again, migration began. Some tribes moved north toward Anatolia, others west toward the Mediterranean coast that, in a way, humanity was escaping the weight of its own civilization. Every great civilization was born from migration. The Achaeans, the Sea Peoples, the Indo-Aryans, the Phoenicians, the Hittites, the Etruscans all left their homelands in search of water, fertile soil, trade, or mere survival. Between 2000 and 1200 BCE, history entered what scholars call the Great Age of Migration. Around the Mediterranean alone, nearly 40 tribes relocated. This was the time when the Sea Peoples attacked Egypt, the Hittite Empire collapsed, and Troy burned to the ground. Ironically, those destructions marked the beginning of a new era, the Iron Age. Most of these migrations were forced. Droughts, famines, wars, volcanic eruptions, for instance. The eruption of Santorini, Thera, around 1600 BCE altered the Mediterranean climate for a decade, collapsing agriculture and forcing populations to move. One chain of disasters led to another chain of migrations. But where did humanity go? And what remains of those ancient lands today? One of the earliest known stops on humanity's migration map is Göbekli Tepe, built around 9600 BCE. This temple shows that hunter-gatherer groups had begun seeking not just survival, but meaning. People who once walked out of Africa gathered on the Anatolian plateau and erected massive stone pillars reaching toward the sky, in the same region. Around Harran, Urfa, and Karakadag, we find the earliest traces of agriculture. Back then, the land was lush and fertile. Today, much of it is arid and semi-desert. Similarly, Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq and Syria, was once among the most fertile regions on Earth. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers were its lifeblood. Now, many parts of those rivers have dried up, and the once living delta ecosystems have vanished. Humanity migrated, and so did nature. Cities once filled with life, Uruk, Nippur, are now buried under sand, silent and forgotten. As the migration routes moved north, Anatolia, the Balkans, and Europe became new homes. Çatalhöyük, dating to around 7,500 BCE, we see one of the first true urban settlements. What is now a flat plain near Konya was once a vibrant city of multi-story homes connected like a hive. Even before streets were invented, humans had already discovered the concept of neighborhood. As centuries passed, humans began to seek not just living space, but civilization. The Egyptians along the Nile, the Greeks by the Aegean, the Zhou along the Yellow River in China all settled near water. And today, NASA data shows that about 70% of the world's population still lives near coastlines or rivers. Coincidence? Not at all. It's the inheritance of migration. But there's a striking difference. Ancient migrations lived in harmony with nature. Today's migrations often exist in conflict with it. Early humans didn't harm the land, they depended on it. Now, migration often means fleeing the destruction we ourselves caused. Once, migration was about seeking nature. Now, it's about escaping its loss. Archaeogenetic studies reveal that about 90% of today's global population descends from just 5,000 individuals who left Africa tens of thousands of years ago. That means we were all once on the same road, looking up at the same stars in the same desert sky. Borders, flags, and languages may separate us now, but genetically, we are still the children of migration. Scientists also tell us that migrations across Eurasia between 300 and 1000 BCE shaped the languages we speak today. The Indo-European languages spoken from India to Iceland are the direct result of those ancient movements. A migration didn't just carry people. It carried language, culture, and ideas. And when you look at the world now, you realize migration never truly ended. It only changed form. Once, people moved for water and food. Now they move for jobs, safety, and freedom. But the essence remains the same. Humans move to survive. Perhaps migration is written into our evolutionary destiny. When we stop moving, we fade. When we move forward, we are reborn. Just like the first human who carried fire in one hand, hope in the other, and stepped into a world still unknown.